It was a sunny spring morning, the kind where everything seemed bright and full of life. I had just poured myself a cup of coffee and settled into my favorite spot by the window. Suddenly, my phone buzzed with a message. I glanced over at Ethan's phone, lying carelessly on the kitchen counter. Curiosity tugged at me, pulling me closer. I picked it up, thinking I would just check the time. But then, I saw it. A text from a name I didn't recognize. My heart raced as I read the words. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you." In that moment, my world felt like it was shattering. I dropped the phone like it burned my skin, my breath catching in my throat. I could hardly process it. "This can't be real," I whispered, my heart pounding. Anger surged through me, mixing with an aching sadness. How could he? My mind raced, the betrayal hitting me like a wave, leaving me gasping for air. "Ethan!" I shouted, my voice trembling. I could hear my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. He walked in, his face brightening when he saw me. But that light dimmed the moment he noticed my expression. "What's wrong?" he asked, confusion etched on his face. I held the phone up, my hands shaking. "What is this?" His eyes widened, and for a split second, I saw fear flash across his face. "It's not what you think," he started, but I cut him off. "Not what I think. You're texting another woman, Ethan. How am I supposed to take that?" My voice cracked, a mix of disbelief and fury bubbling to the surface. As I processed the betrayal, I felt something else taking root in my heart, a fierce desire for revenge. How could he do this to me? The love I thought was real felt like a cruel joke. I felt small and powerless, like a puppet with its strings cut. But then, beneath that pain, a fire ignited. I would not be a victim. "Do you even care?" I asked, my voice low and dangerous. "Do you care about us at all?" "I do. I just made a mistake," he stammered, but his words felt hollow, like a weak excuse. A mistake? This was no mere stumble. It was a deliberate act that cut deep into my soul. I felt tears prick my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Instead, I took a step back and squared my shoulders. "I will not let this break me," I muttered to myself, the determination swelling within me. I needed to reclaim my power. I thought about all the moments we had shared, the promises he had made. Were they all lies? Did he ever love me? Questions swirled in my mind, each one cutting deeper than the last. But as I stood there, facing him, I felt a shift. The rage transformed into something sharper, something more focused. I envisioned a scenario where Ethan felt every ounce of the pain he had inflicted on me. How would he react if the tables were turned? "Maybe it's time you learned what it feels like," I said, my voice steady now. I could see the gears turning in his mind, the realization of my resolve settling in. "Wait, let's talk about this," he pleaded, but my mind was made up. I felt a surge of exhilaration mixed with fear. This was the moment I would take back control. I could almost taste the sweet revenge, and it both thrilled and terrified me. As I looked into his eyes, I knew I had a choice to make. Would I let this betrayal define me? Or would I use it to transform into something stronger? The road ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. I would not let Ethan's betrayal go unanswered. My heart raced as I envisioned the plan forming in my mind, and for the first time, I felt a sense of purpose rising within me. Confronting Ethan was not how I imagined my day would go. My heart raced as I stood in front of him, the man I once trusted completely. The sunny day outside felt like a cruel joke, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. "Ethan, we need to talk." He looked up from his phone, confusion flickering in his eyes. "About what?" I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to scream. "About you and Celeste. I saw the texts." I watched as the color drained from his face, replaced by a mix of guilt and defiance. "You don't understand," he began, but I cut him off. No, you don't understand. I thought we had something real. How could you do this to me? My voice trembled with hurt and anger. Ethan took a step forward, his expression shifting. I made a mistake, okay? It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything? I laughed bitterly, the sound echoing in the empty room. You think that makes it better? You think I can just brush this off? His eyes darted around, searching for the right words. I was lonely. We were drifting apart, and Celeste, she was there. Lonely? I echoed, feeling the heat of betrayal rise in me. You chose to betray me instead of talking to me. You chose her over us. He hung his head, shame painting his features. I know I messed up. I didn't think it would get this far. Of course you didn't, I shot back, my mind racing with a mix of emotions. You didn't think about me at all? As I watched him, I felt a part of me fading, my past self, the woman who believed in love. I was torn, grappling with this new identity that was awakening within me. One filled with pain, yes, but also with a fierce hunger for revenge. I wanted him to feel the same agony that ripped through me. Do you even love her? I asked, my voice low and dangerous. Ethan looked away, unable to meet my gaze. It's complicated. Complicated, I repeated, my heart pounding. You've made it so simple, Ethan. You chose pleasure over loyalty. You chose betrayal over love. He opened his mouth, perhaps to argue, but no words came out. Instead, silence hung between us, heavy and suffocating. I felt the walls closing in around me, and in that moment, I envisioned my plan taking shape. What if I could make him feel the pain he had caused me? The thought sent a thrill through me, a mix of excitement and fear. It felt exhilarating to think that I could turn the tables, that I could reclaim my power. Do you think I will just stand here and let you get away with this? I asked, my voice firm. Ethan finally met my gaze, a flicker of fear crossing his features. What are you talking about? I leaned closer, my heart pounding in my chest. I am going to make you regret this. You will wish you had never crossed me. He took a step back, his eyes widening. You're serious, aren't you? Deadly serious. I could see the realization sinking in, the fear creeping into his expression. I was transforming, shedding the victim's skin, and emerging as someone he would not expect. As I walked away from that conversation, I felt a mix of clarity and confusion. I had a plan forming in my mind, one that would make him feel the depths of my betrayal. Yet deep down, a small voice whispered doubts. Was this truly the path I wanted to take? I could feel the struggle within me, but I also felt empowered. I was not going to let this define me. I had the choice to either remain a victim or to rise from the ashes of my hurt. With each step, I wrestled with my thoughts. Was revenge the answer, or was there a better way to reclaim my identity? I stepped outside into the warm sunlight, the world alive around me. I had decisions to make, and I knew I had to tread carefully. The battle within me was just beginning. As I sat in the cozy corner of my favorite cafe, the sun streamed through the window, warming my face. Zara was across from me, her eyes sparkling with excitement as we plotted our revenge. I can't believe we're actually doing this, she said, her voice low but charged with energy. We are going to expose Ethan and Celeste for what they really are. I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of anticipation and fear. It's not just about hurting them, though, I replied, my hands trembling slightly. I want the truth to come out. I want everyone to know who they really are. Zara nodded, her expression serious. Absolutely, but we need to be smart about this. We can't rush in blindly. Together, we began to piece together our plan, weaving a web of strategies that targeted both Ethan and Celeste. As we discussed our options, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just revenge. It was about reclaiming my narrative. We started by digging into Celeste's life, searching for any dark secrets that could help our cause. "You know," Zara said, leaning over the table, "I heard some rumors about her. She's not as innocent as she pretends to be." "What kind of rumors?" I asked, leaning in closer, eager to hear more. "Apparently, she has a history of manipulating people to get what she wants. She's been involved in a few scandals, but no one really knows the details," Zara explained, her voice dropping to a whisper, as if the very walls could hear us. A spark ignited in my heart. "If we can find proof of that, it will make our plan even stronger," I said, my mind racing with possibilities. Over the next few days, we became detectives, researching Celeste's past online, digging through social media posts, and even reaching out to a few mutual acquaintances. Each nugget of information we uncovered brought us closer to our goal. I felt empowered, something I hadn't felt in a long time. One evening, as we sifted through Celeste's online presence, Zara's face lit up. "Look at this," she exclaimed, pointing to a post from years ago. She was involved in a scandal at her last job. She got fired for unethical behavior. I leaned closer to the screen, my heart racing. "This is gold, Zara. If we can get a copy of that report, it could really expose her." Zara grinned, her excitement palpable. "We can reach out to someone who used to work there. I have a friend who might know someone." As we crafted our strategy, I felt a sense of camaraderie between us that I hadn't expected. Zara and I shared a bond that went beyond friendship. We were united in our fight against betrayal. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" I asked one night, doubt creeping in as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Zara's voice came through my phone, steady and reassuring. "Of course we are. You deserve to stand up for yourself. This is about you taking back your power." Her words resonated deeply within me. I had been the victim for too long, and now it was time to flip the script. I felt a surge of determination. As the days passed and our plan took shape, I realized that this journey was not just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my worth and showing both Ethan and Celeste that I would not be broken by their actions. One afternoon, we met in person to finalize our plans. "Okay, so what's our next step?" Zara asked, her notebook filled with notes and ideas. I tapped my fingers on the table, thinking, "We need to make sure we gather all the evidence before we confront them. It has to be foolproof." Zara nodded, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "And then we'll make sure the truth comes out. They won't see it coming." I smiled, feeling a flicker of excitement. Together, we can make this happen. As the sun set, casting a warm glow around us, I felt a sense of purpose. We were not just two women seeking revenge. We were warriors ready to fight for justice. And for the first time in a long while, I felt powerful. The night I had been waiting for finally arrived, thick with tension and anticipation. My heart raced as I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my dress. Zara had insisted that I wear something that made me feel powerful, and I hoped she was right. The plan was set, and I was ready to confront Ethan and Celeste. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Zara asked, her voice tinged with concern as she waited for me in the living room. "Yes," I replied, trying to sound more confident than I felt. "I need to know the truth. I can't keep living in this fog of lies." Zara nodded, her eyes filled with support. "Just remember, you are stronger than you think. You deserve to find out what they've been hiding." I took a deep breath and stepped outside. The night air was cool, but it did little to calm my racing heart. We drove to the restaurant where I knew Ethan and Celeste would be, my mind swirling with thoughts of what I might find. What if he tried to deny everything again? What if Celeste was as manipulative as I suspected? When we arrived, I spotted them through the window, laughing together over a candlelit table. My stomach churned, but I forced myself to walk inside. As I approached their table, my heart pounded like a drum. "Ethan!" I called out, my voice steady despite the chaos inside me. He turned, his smile fading as he saw me. "What are you doing here?" he asked, confusion evident in his eyes. "I came to talk. Now." I glanced at Celeste, whose expression shifted from surprise to smug satisfaction. "Is this really necessary?" she interjected, her tone laced with mockery. "Can't you see we're busy?" I felt a surge of anger. "Busy? You mean busy scheming behind my back?" I shot back, my words sharp. Ethan's brow furrowed. "You don't understand." "No, I think I understand perfectly," I interrupted. "I found out about you two. I know everything." The air grew thick with tension as I pulled out my phone and displayed the messages I had seen. "You think this is love?" I asked, my voice rising. "You betrayed me, Ethan. You let me believe in a lie." Celeste smirked, unfazed by my outburst. "Oh, please. You were just a convenience for him. I'm the one he really wants," she said, leaning closer to Ethan, who looked increasingly uncomfortable. "Is that true?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Is she right? You want her?" Ethan looked torn, his eyes darting between us. "It's not what you think," he stammered. No, I deserve the truth," I insisted. "Tell me what you really feel." As I waited for his response, I felt my heart breaking. The man I thought I knew was crumbling before my eyes. I was ready for a fight, but I hadn't prepared myself for this level of vulnerability. I care for Celeste," he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But it doesn't mean I don't care about you." "Care?" I echoed, the word tasting bitter on my tongue. "What does care even mean when you're with someone else?" Celeste smirked again. "He's just saying that to make you feel better. You should see the way he looks at me. It's real." I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. The truth was more painful than I could have imagined. I turned to Zara, who stood by my side, her expression full of sympathy. "I can't believe this is happening," I said, my voice shaking. Ethan reached out to me, but I stepped back. "No, don't touch me. I don't want your pity. You've made your choice." As I stood there, I realized I wasn't just confronting Ethan and Celeste. I was facing my own feelings about love, trust, and betrayal. The truth was, love was never simple. It was messy and complicated, and I had put my faith in someone who didn't deserve it. "I hope you both find what you're looking for," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. "But I won't be part of this anymore." With that, I turned on my heel and walked away, leaving behind the chaos of that night. I felt a strange mix of vindication and heartbreak, but I knew I had to move forward. Even in my pain, I could sense that this was just the beginning of reclaiming my own story. As I stood there, the air thick with tension, my heart raced and my mind swirled with a storm of emotions. Anger surged through me like a wildfire, burning away the last remnants of the love I thought I had for Ethan. The chaos of the confrontation had taken a toll on me, and I felt waves of sadness crashing over my resolve. I tried to focus, but the sight of Ethan and Celeste together made it hard to breathe. "Why, Ethan? Why would you do this?" I demanded, my voice shaking with a mix of rage and heartbreak. He looked at me, eyes filled with a mix of guilt and defiance. "I didn't mean for it to happen. You weren't there for me." "Not there for you?" I shot back, my voice rising. "You think I wasn't there? I was right here, supporting you, loving you. And this is how you repay me?" Celeste stood beside him, arms crossed, a smug smile on her face. "You really thought you could keep him all to yourself? You were never enough for him." Her words struck me like a slap. I felt the heat rise in my cheeks, the sting of humiliation cutting deep. "Enough? What do you know about me?" I spat, my fists clenched. "You think you know him? You think you've won?" Ethan stepped forward, his tone softer, but still defensive. "I didn't plan for any of this. Maybe we just drifted apart, and I found someone who— Who what? I interrupted, anger bubbling over. Who makes you feel good for a moment? Who makes you forget the vows we took? This isn't about love. It's about your cowardice. As I spoke, something began to shift inside me. The anger that had fueled my desire for revenge started to fade, replaced by a strange sense of clarity. I realized that all the feelings swirling inside me, the sadness, the rage, they were just layers of pain. But beneath it all, I felt a whisper of liberation. "Do you really think revenge will fix this?" I asked, my voice suddenly calm. "All I've wanted is to hurt you both, to watch you suffer as I have. But what will that bring me? Will it fill the void you've created in my heart?" Zara's words echoed in my mind. "Revenge feels good at first, but it won't heal you." I had dismissed her then, but now I understood. I didn't want to be a puppet of my pain any longer. I wanted to be free. "I can't keep doing this," I said, more to myself than to them. "Holding on to this anger is just weighing me down. You think you've won, but I refuse to let you take my power." Ethan's face fell, and for a moment, I saw fear in his eyes. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm letting go," I declared, my heart racing with a mix of fear and relief. "I'm not going to chase after you, Ethan. I'm not going to waste my energy plotting against you and Celeste. I deserve better than that." Celeste scoffed, but I didn't care. I felt a lightness beginning to fill the space where the darkness had settled. "You think you've broken me, but you've only shown me who I no longer want to be. I won't let your choices define my worth." As I turned to leave, the weight of the confrontation slowly lifted. It was as if I had shed a heavy coat that had clung to me for too long. I could feel the sun warming my skin, the promise of a new beginning shimmering just ahead. "Wait!" Ethan called after me, his voice filled with desperation. "Can't we at least talk about this?" I paused, glancing back. "There's nothing left to say, Ethan. This is my moment to reclaim myself. Goodbye." With that, I stepped into the cool evening air, leaving behind the chaos and pain. I felt a surge of strength rising within me, a determination to heal. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "I choose me." And for the first time in a long time, I felt truly free. As I sat on my balcony, sipping a cup of chamomile tea, I couldn't help but reflect on how much my life had changed. The chaos of the past few weeks felt like a distant memory, yet the scars of betrayal lingered. I could still feel the weight of Ethan's betrayal heavy on my heart, but I was beginning to understand that this weight didn't have to define me. "Hey you," Zara said, joining me on the balcony with a bright smile. "You look deep in thought. What's going on in that beautiful mind of yours?" I chuckled softly. "Just thinking about everything that's happened. It feels surreal." Zara settled into the chair next to me, her eyes filled with understanding. "You've been through so much. It's okay to take your time to process it all." "I know," I replied, taking a deep breath. "But I want to move forward. I need to find a way to heal." "That's the spirit!" she exclaimed, her excitement contagious. "You're strong, and you can do this. Remember, it's about reclaiming your life and finding joy again." I smiled at her words, feeling a spark of hope ignite within me. "What do you think I should do first?" "Let's start with the things you love," she suggested. "What made you happy before all of this?" I paused, memories flooding my mind. "I used to love painting. I haven't picked up a brush in months." "Then let's do it. We can set up a little art corner in your living room." "It'll be fun," Zara said, her enthusiasm infectious. That weekend, we transformed my living room into a makeshift art studio. I felt a rush of excitement as I dipped my brush into vibrant colors. Each stroke on the canvas began to release the pent-up emotions inside me. I painted my feelings, anger, sadness, and eventually, hope. "Look at you, Picasso," Zara laughed, watching me lose myself in my artwork. "You're a natural." "Thanks," I said, stepping back to admire my work. It feels good to express myself again. As the days turned into weeks, I continued to paint, and slowly, I began to rediscover who I was. I also reached out to old friends, reconnecting with those I had lost touch with during my relationship with Ethan. One evening, I met up with an old friend, Lily, at a cozy cafe. "It's so good to see you," she exclaimed, pulling me into a warm hug. "You look radiant." "Thanks, Lily. I'm trying to embrace this new chapter in my life," I replied, feeling the warmth of her support. "I'm proud of you. It takes a lot of courage to start over," she said, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. "I've realized that I need to love myself first," I confessed. "It's hard, but I'm learning." "You're on the right path. Remember, healing isn't linear. Some days will be better than others," Lily reassured me. "But you have a support system now." "I feel like I'm finally moving forward," I said, a sense of peace washing over me. "And I'm excited to see what the future holds." As I continued this journey of healing, I also focused on my passions. I joined a local art class where I not only honed my skills, but also met new friends who brought joy into my life. One evening, as we painted together, one of my classmates, Alex, asked, "What inspires your art?" I smiled, thinking about my journey. My experiences, both good and bad, they shape who I am and what I create. "That's beautiful," he said, nodding. "Art has a way of healing our wounds." "I believe that," I replied. "It's a way to express emotions that are hard to put into words." With each passing day, I felt more like myself. The scars of betrayal transformed into symbols of resilience. I was no longer just a victim. I was a survivor. I had learned to love myself, flaws and all. As I stood in front of my latest painting, a vibrant explosion of color and emotion, I realized that I had come a long way. While love could be complicated, the journey towards self-love and resilience was the most significant victory I could achieve. And for the first time in a long while, I felt free. Share this story if you believe that healing and self-love can triumph over even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about how rediscovering a passion has transformed your life, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one.